Team WUNAX. Joe, Dietrich.
What's up, guys? Joe here from Team WUNAX. Today we're going to be talking about the new TCG ban list that goes into effect here on Monday. Just kind of talking about like what effects it's going to have on the new format, the formats that's going to be legal for YCS Minneapolis, as well as a couple of regionals next weekend. And it should be an active format for the next like 3 months. We don't really know. Because Konami has not been communicating with us very much. This has actually been the longest we've ever gone without having a ban list up until they just released this one a couple days ago. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's get into it. So first off, we have Snowband. This definitely needed to go. The Danger Tree deck was probably one of the best decks that we've had in a while. It definitely resembles like the Danger Thunder deck, being able to just play like very limited non-engine cards and being able to push through like sprite sports pretty easily with just, danger cards and tier cards. And this being a card that you could use to link climb or make easy rank 4s like Tagaris, Dweller, or just a card that beats Dark Ruler in general, really strong. So card wasn't back for that long, but it definitely had a really high impact while it was here. Second, we have ronaton. I think this is a good hit, honestly. Definitely am opposed to them like banning Toad or something, because that takes away the fact that you can make it with like Bahamut Shark or something like that. So this still allows you to make Toad. Essentially, you need like a 1-card way to make Gigantic plus an extender. So like Deep Sea Diva, summon the Diva, summon the other Diva from your deck, make Gigantic, summon Swap Frog, and then summon like Jet. And then you can keep the Swap Frog on the field, link the 2 monsters into Elf, and then Elf will summon back the other Swap Frog that you sent to grave. And then you can just make Toad really easy from there. So I like this hit. I think it makes sense. Though it was cool that you were able to like splash the Frog engine in and other decks really easily, like Tier or something like that. Next we have Hulk. Yeah, finally. Konami finally did it. They banned Hulk. Makes sense, honestly. Hulk wasn't like super oppressive this format as it has been in some formats past, but it definitely enabled a lot of really cool combos. For instance, like the Punk combos, being able to make like the Shinobi Necro into Baron with Chaos Ruler and make Elf. So like 1 teleport would end you on like Elf plus Baron plus milling 5. So pretty good. But yeah, Hulk being banned is probably healthy for the game, honestly. Next we have Chaos Ruler. Yeah, this card really needed to go. This card is ridiculous. It's 2 bodies essentially. Mills 5, so milling the tiers, you're always triggering those. Plus you're getting a free ad if you like mill a danger or something. It put a lot of pressure on the opponent. It was a big monster. Especially good in like Dragon Link to start out with, but then just saw play and everything else. And then you can play it in like the Punk decks, which like saw the most success from like YCS Niagara. They played it in the tier danger sprite deck, just to get the most value out of it. So yeah, this card definitely needed to go. Lastly, we have Reboot. I'm pretty upset about this one. I think Reboot's like a pretty like important card that's needed for the game. Takes away counterplay aspects of its bans to like some of the most unfair cards. So now there's no counterplay to like Eradicator or Herbie's Featherstorm or just really degenerate traps like that. So it being a what if, I agree, was pretty unfair. But I think if you put it to like 2 or something, it would be fine. I can see how if you are, playing a trap deck, how you could complain about it, because it is really sacky as a one-of. But now, given that it's banned, it makes cards like Anti-Spell so much better, because the only blowout card that you can have that's not a spell is Evenly. Because like things like Duster and Storm, you completely turned off by Anti-Spell, so probably move to playing something like Cosmic or Twin. Those are obviously not as high impact as the other ones I mentioned earlier. For the limited, Steam the Cloak. This card's really neat. I think it'll be played in the tier deck for sure. It's a dark that has a different type than Aqua, so it's a winged beast, which is relevant. Though Garura and Zephyros are both winged beast monsters as well. Essentially, what you can do is if you mill it, you distribute a monster on your field, special summon it back, and then when it leaves the field, it summons a water Aqua token. So the Aqua is definitely relevant because you can fuse with it. I'm not sure if people will start playing stuff like Link Rebo or something in order to tune out more darks. But yeah, pretty cool card. Cyberjar, yeah, this card was like banned forever. So definitely a card that's been power crept, but could definitely see some degenerate stuff be done with it. At 1 though, I'm not very sure. Olion. Olion's neat. I think it might actually see some play with the new sprite link that's coming out, since it dumps a level 2 from deck. So this might be dumped and then triggered to summon some tokens to do some other combo stuff, but I'm not very sure like how far that would get you. But it's definitely cool that these tuners can come back since Hulk is banned. Substitute. This card is really good in Edison format, but I don't know if it'll see any competitive play. I would assume probably not. It definitely is another one of those cards that's been power crept out pretty soon. But that being said, since it's being reprinted, since it is unbanned, it will be probably getting reprinted, as they've done in the past with stuff like Snow and the OTS pack. Extra Spellbook of Judgment. This is kind of neat. I've seen a lot of people talking about like a Sprite Spellbook deck, since Blue Boy is level 2 and you can do a whole bunch of stuff. Since you're already playing like the runic cards as well, just playing a whole bunch of power spells seems interesting, but definitely also seems like something that loses to Spell Cancer or Eradicator, since you won't be playing hand traps. But definitely, yeah, interesting card. And it could be really good if someone like figures it out. I definitely think it's better as an engine rather than a deck. But yeah, we'll definitely have to wait and see. Lastly on the limited list is a pointer, which is interesting. I'm usually all for these cards either being at 3 or banned. This being a 1 of seems pretty sacky. I guess it means like you have to set it off Griffin if you're gonna side in going first. Yeah, I don't know. I think this card is like pretty unhealthy as well. It gives both players perfect information, and being able to like pick a card is really crazy. So yeah, obviously if you look, there's no Scythe and there's no Mind Band. Scythe obviously wasn't that much of a problem towards the end of this format, but mine definitely was getting up there, since it was in the winners list of like 3 different major events, and both finalists for Nats. Yeah, mine is just like one of those cards where if it hasn't been hit now, where it seems like it is the best, I don't think it will get hit, which is unfortunate, since I feel like that card does not promote a whole lot of gameplay. But it just means you got to be prepared for it. You just have to be building your deck around that card, or respecting it in some way, shape, or form, and just being aware that that card is in the format. And it's like highly likely that if you're going first, your entire board can just get outed if it's just interruptions by just mine. So definitely an important thing to look out for. Scythe, on the other hand, like Hulk being banned makes it so like the Hulk Dagda thing is like impossible now, obviously. Cards like Sanctum are still obviously in the format, and like Dagda still exists, so you can like potentially like Dagda set something and then pop it with Baron and summon it back in the standby phase. But that's the only like efficient way, other than like dumping it with Shooting Riser Dragon. So it's like a lot less consistent, but cards like Sanctum are still gonna be really good. To the unlimiteds. Dynamite Knuckle. I think this card like is fine at 3. I think the Draco deck is like unplayable until you have multiple diagrams, like how it was in the past. Was we had 3 diagrams and the 1 Dynamite Knuckle and no Masterpiece. The deck was like seeing some success. especially like the Striker Draco deck was really good. So I can like see how they can bring this card back. But yeah, like I don't know. I don't think it will do much. I think Diagram is one of the biggest things holding it back, and then Masterpiece obviously as well. I'm not sure if Masterpiece could come back with one Diagram, maybe. But you still have like all the monsters, which like tutor ways to get to Masterpiece faster. So we could see it. I'm not sure though. 3 Ben 10, cool. I think Drytron's a pretty neat deck. I'm not sure we'll see a whole lot of success now or in the next couple of weeks when the Bisted cards come out. If you don't know what those cards do, they are quick effects. Your opponent controls a monster, but you can banish a light or dark monster from the graveyard and special summon them. So if they summon a monster, do anything, you can chain or quick effects, pretty much like a DD Crow, to summon a monster. So since all the Drytrons are light, it seems like a pretty hard counter, as well as the fact that the tier boards are ending on like Dweller or Appaloosa, which are all really good cards against Drytron, plus like Eradicator. Shooting Rise Dragon, yeah, not really sure where this card was at 1 to start with. Since people were always only playing 1, but now it's unlimited, so that's cool. Not a whole much to say about that. Actually, a Fusion Destiny and Nadir. These cards were hit when I won a couple weeks after, and then the deck never saw like any more competitive success. And I don't think the deck is viable right now, anyways. So that's cool. I think Fusion Destiny and Nadir will definitely be played in strategies in the future. Fusion Destiny being a 3 of now makes it like so you can justify it. Before when it was at 2, you have like 2 bricks and 2 power spells, so the same odds of drawing one of them. Doesn't really seem like it's that impactful, but yeah, it being at 3 is interesting. You might be able to play it in Sphere Element since you can put back the bricks if you mill them, since they're all dark monsters. So that's cool. And then Nadir got a lot better with Garura being released. Since you can Nadir, send Garura, add Ecclesia, draw a card, and then resolve Ecclesia, it essentially becomes like a +2 if you're adding something like Punishment. So that's neat. I definitely think Nadir will see play in like some of the Outlish decks or some of the more like control-oriented decks, even like in Flunder potentially. I know people were doing that in the past, so it'll be interesting to see how those cards, if they see play in the future of the format. Next up we have Light Stage. Finally, card came back. Card's really cool. I think it's really good for the Sprite deck as well, since you can add Lilybell from deck and then special summon it with its effect. So it's a free level 2 extender that outs a spell or trap on the field. I really like this card. I think it's like one of the best field spells we've gotten in a long time, and it being at 3 is really cool. I think it could have been at 3 for a while, honestly. And lastly, we have Wall of Revealing Light. Another card that's like honestly similar like to Mystic Mine, but not as good, obviously. Kind of like a power crept aspect. But yeah, preventing your opponent from attacking if you pay a certain amount of life points. So it requires you to either have like a monster that removes spell or traps, or like just spell and trap card removal in general in your deck. So yeah, I don't think this card needed to be hit this long at all. But yeah, that kind of wraps it up. Let me know in the comments below like what you guys think about the list. If you have any changes, obviously I would change a couple cards. Mine, Scythe probably, and Called by the Grave as well. I think that card needed to go too. It being a 1 of is super saggy. I'm not a huge fan of these huge power cards being 1-ofs. They can either be 3 or 0. Just because you're gonna play around them more. Like there's no way I'm playing around a 1-of if I'm going into a board, unless I like have an insane hand. But the majority of the time you just don't respect it. So it's a percentage chance of them seeing it is so low. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Any changes you would make, and thanks for watching.